People ask me all the time, they say, Mr. Trump, what's the one thing you wish you knew when you were younger? And let me tell you, folks, it's a very powerful question because the truth is, there are lessons in life that nobody tells you, nobody teaches you in school, nobody shares with you. And by the time you figure it out, you've already gone through the tough part. So today, I'm going to share with you the life changing truth I discovered too late. And believe me, it's going to change the way you look at everything. The first thing I wish I knew is that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. And I say that with total confidence because when you're young, you think someone else will step in. You think the government, your parents, your boss, your teachers, somebody is going to give you a break, hand you the opportunity, make things happen for you. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, it's on you. And the sooner you wake up to that reality, the faster you start moving, the faster you start winning. When I was younger, I used to look around and think, why isn't anyone helping me? Why aren't people opening the doors for me? And then it hit me. Nobody cares as much about your success as you do. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, how can I make John successful today? How can I make Sarah's dreams come true? They're thinking about themselves, their own problems, their own lives, and that's normal because that's human nature. So if you sit around waiting for somebody to push you forward, you'll be waiting your whole life. Look at the world we live in. Most people are waiting for the right time, waiting for the right person, waiting for the right opportunity. They're waiting for someone to come along and say, here it is, the big chance you've been dreaming about. But winners, true winners, they don't wait. They create. They take action. They make the call. They start the business. They take the risk. And people look at them later and say, wow, they got lucky. It wasn't luck. It was the fact that they didn't wait for someone to save them. They saved themselves. Think about it. If you're drowning, you don't sit there and hope someone shows up. You swim, you kick, you fight, you do whatever it takes to get to the surface. Life is the same way. You can't expect anyone else to pull you out. You've got to swim. And once you understand that, once you stop waiting and start moving, your life changes overnight. I'll tell you something very real. I've met so many people, smart, talented, incredible people, but they're stuck. And they're stuck because they're waiting for the call back, waiting for the promotion, waiting for someone to recognize them. And years go by, decades even, and they're still in the same spot. Why? Because they thought someone else was going to save them. When I was building my career, I learned this lesson the hard way. I thought people would line up to back me, to support me, because I had good ideas, and some did for a while. But the truth is, when things got tough, when the economy crashed, when the deals went sideways, most of those people disappeared. And I realized if I don't fight for myself, if I don't stand up and take control, nobody else will. That was the turning point. That was when I stopped expecting help and started demanding results from myself. And here's the best part. Once you stop waiting for someone to save you, you get powerful. You take responsibility. You stop blaming others. You stop pointing fingers. And you say, if it's going to happen, it's up to me. And that mindset, that shift, is what separates winners from losers. Losers wait, winners act. Now, don't get me wrong. There will be people who support you along the way. Friends, mentors, maybe even a family member or two. But they're not the foundation. They're not the engine. They're bonuses. The foundation has to be you. If you don't push, if you don't drive, if you don't demand more from yourself, nothing happens. I'll give you a secret. When you act like nobody's coming to save you, that's when people actually show up. Funny, right? When you're sitting around waiting, nobody comes. But the moment you take responsibility, the moment you start moving, suddenly people want to be part of it. Because people are drawn to action, they're drawn to strength, they don't want to rescue you, they want to join you. So let me make this as clear as I can. You have two choices in life. You can wait and hope and pray that someone else steps in and saves you. Or you can stand up, take charge, and decide you're going to save yourself. One path leads to frustration, disappointment, and regret. The other leads to freedom, success, and power. Nobody is coming. Not your boss, not your government, not your family. Nobody. It's on you. And when you accept that, when you take full ownership of your life, everything changes. Suddenly, you're not the victim, you're the driver. You're not hoping for a break, you're creating one. You're not asking for permission, you're making it happen. And that's the truth I wish I knew when I was younger. If I knew that at 18, 20 years old, I would have gone twice as fast. I wasted time waiting for help that never came. Don't make that mistake. Stop waiting. Start moving. Because the day you stop waiting for someone to save you is the day you start saving yourself and the day you start winning big. The second truth I wish I knew when I was younger is this: confidence is more valuable than intelligence. And I know some people don't like to hear that, but it's absolutely true. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've lived it. You can be the smartest person in the world. You can have all the degrees, all the knowledge, all the facts. But if you don't have confidence, you're not going anywhere. You'll be standing on the sidelines while someone with half your brains, but twice your confidence, walks right in and takes the prize. I've met so many brilliant people, people who could calculate numbers faster than a computer, people who could tell you every detail about history, economics, science, you name it, and yet they were stuck. Why? Because they couldn't look someone in the eye and say, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is why you should believe in me. They didn't have the confidence, and without confidence, intelligence doesn't get heard. When I walk into a room, I don't think, do I have the most facts? Do I know every detail? No. I think I belong here. I deserve to be here. People are going to listen to me. That's confidence. And guess what? People respond to it. They lean in, they listen, they follow. Because confidence is contagious. When I was young, I thought if you just worked hard and became smart, the world would notice. Wrong. The world doesn't notice unless you make it notice. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you don't say it with power, with conviction, nobody cares. People don't follow the smartest idea. They follow the strongest voice. And that voice comes from confidence. Let me tell you something I've seen over and over. The person who believes in themselves always beats the person who doubts themselves, even if the second person is smarter. Always. Because confidence makes people trust you. And in business and life and relationships, trust is everything. If people trust you, they'll invest in you, they'll buy from you, they'll follow you, but they're never going to trust someone who doesn't even trust themselves. And here's the truth. Confidence is not something you're born with. Some people act like it is, but it's not. It's built. It's a decision. You wake up and you say, I'm going to act like I belong, even if I don't feel like it yet. That's how you build it. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. I remember negotiating big deals early in my career. I was young and I knew the other guys at the table had more experience, more money, more connections. But I walked in like I was the authority. I spoke with confidence. I carried myself like I was the one they needed. And you know what happened? They believed me. They respected me. They took me seriously. Not because I was the smartest, not because I had all the answers, but because I had the confidence to lead. Now, here's the thing most people get wrong. They think confidence means arrogance. It doesn't. Arrogance is when you think you know everything. Confidence is when you trust yourself even when you don't know everything. There's a big difference. You don't have to know it all to be confident. You just have to know that you can figure it out, that you'll find a way. That belief is what makes people trust you. Think about every great leader in history. Were they always the smartest? No. But they believed in themselves. They spoke with certainty. They had vision. And people followed them, not because of how much they knew, but because of how much they believed. And here's another thing. Confidence opens doors that intelligence can't. You can be a genius, but if you're too shy to pitch your idea, too nervous to ask for the opportunity, you'll never get the chance. Meanwhile, the confident person will knock on the door, walk right in, and take the opportunity you were waiting for. That's the difference. And I'll tell you, confidence is magnetic. People want to be around it. They want to follow it. You've probably seen it before. Someone walks into a room, they're not the best looking, not the smartest, not the most accomplished, but they carry themselves with confidence and suddenly everyone is drawn to them. That's the power of it. So if you're young and listening right now, let me save you years of frustration. Don't spend all your time trying to be the smartest person in the room. Spend your time building confidence. Learn to stand tall, to speak with strength, to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. Because the truth is, the world doesn't reward the smartest. It rewards the boldest. Confidence wins deals. Confidence builds relationships. Confidence makes people believe in you even before they've seen the proof. And once they believe, once they invest in you, that's when you get the chance to show your intelligence. But you'll never get that chance if you don't have confidence first. So remember this: intelligence without confidence is wasted, but confidence, even without perfect intelligence, can take you further than you ever imagined. I've seen it, I've lived it, and I can tell you right now, it's one of the most life changing truths you'll ever understand. The third truth I wish I knew when I was younger is this: failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because from the time you're a kid, they teach you that failure is bad. In school, you fail a test, you're in trouble. You fail a class, you're held back. You fail at something, people laugh at you, they point fingers, they say you're not good enough. And so you grow up thinking, I've got to avoid failure at all costs. That's the biggest lie you'll ever believe. Let me tell you something very powerful. Every single success I've ever had came because I failed first. Every single one. You don't learn from winning. You don't grow when things go perfect. You grow when things go wrong, when you hit the wall, when you fall flat and you have to get back up again. That's where strength comes from. That's where wisdom comes from. When I was younger, I thought successful people just went straight up, straight line, no problems, everything perfect. And then I got out in the real world and I saw the truth. The people who make it big, the ones you admire, they failed more than anybody else. The only difference is they didn't quit. That's the secret. They used failure as fuel, not as a reason to stop. Think about it. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything big enough. Failure means you're in the game. Failure means you're pushing boundaries. Failure means you're not sitting on the couch waiting for things to happen. The people who never fail are the people who never try. And let me tell you, that's the real failure, never trying. When I was building some of my biggest projects, there were times when it all came crashing down. Deals collapsed, banks pulled out, people doubted me. The media wrote me off. I've had projects that completely fell apart. And let me tell you, it's painful. Failure hurts. It hits your pride, it hits your wallet, it hits everything. But here's the truth. Every one of those failures taught me something I could never have learned otherwise. Every single time I came back smarter, stronger, tougher. And eventually, that's what made me win big. Here's the problem with most people. They hit failure once and they stop. They take it as a sign that they're not good enough. They let fear of failure control them. And once fear controls you, you're finished. Winners fail too, but they don't stop. They fail, they learn, they adjust, and they keep going. And every time they fail, they get closer to success. You've probably heard the saying, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. That's exactly what this is about. It's not about avoiding the fall. It's about refusing to stay down. That's what separates the people who succeed from the people who disappear. And here's something I wish somebody told me earlier. People don't remember the failures. They only remember the wins. You could fail 100 times, but when you hit it once, when you succeed big, that's what people remember. Nobody talks about how many times a great athlete lost before they won the championship. Nobody cares about how many businesses an entrepreneur failed at before the billion-dollar one. They only see the success. But without the failures, that success wouldn't even exist. Failure also makes you fearless. Once you've fallen and gotten back up, you realize it's not the end of the world. You realize you can survive it. And that gives you power because now you're not afraid to take risks. And if you're not afraid to take risks, you're unstoppable. The people who are too scared to fail never take the shot and they never win big. The people who aren't afraid to fail keep shooting until they score. So here's the truth I want you to hear loud and clear. Don't run from failure. Don't hide from it. Don't be embarrassed by it. Embrace it. Use it. Every failure is a stepping stone. Every failure is a lesson. Every failure is bringing you one step closer to the big win. If you're young, you need to understand this right now. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the price of entry. It's the training ground. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn, the faster you grow. Don't waste your time trying to avoid it. Lean into it, because when you do, you'll move faster, you'll get stronger, and you'll succeed bigger than you ever imagined. So don't fear failure. Fear being the person who never tried, because that's the only kind of failure you never come back from. The fourth truth I wish I knew when I was younger is this: loyalty is everything. But don't expect it from everyone. And let me tell you, that lesson took me years to really understand. When you're young, you think if you're good to people, they'll be good to you. You think if you're loyal, people will be loyal back. But life doesn't always work that way. In fact, most of the time it doesn't. When I first started out, I believed loyalty was automatic. If you gave someone a job, if you gave them an opportunity, if you treated them well, you assumed they'd stick with you. But very quickly, I learned something. Some people will stick and some people won't. And it has nothing to do with how good you've been to them. It has to do with who they are. Now, don't get me wrong. Loyalty, when it's real, is one of the most powerful forces in the world. A loyal friend, a loyal partner, a loyal employee, they'll go to the end with you. They'll fight for you. They'll protect you. They'll never stab you in the back. And those people, when you find them, you hold on to them with both hands because they are rare, very rare. But here's the reality. Most people are loyal only as long as it benefits them. The moment it's not convenient, the moment it costs them something, the moment they see a better opportunity, they're gone. And if you're not ready for that, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be disappointed. And you might even quit. I've been betrayed many times by people I trusted, people I believed in, people I gave big chances to. And when it happened, I was angry, of course. But then I realized it's not about me. It's about them, their character, their values. Some people just don't have loyalty in their DNA. And once you know that, once you stop expecting it from everyone, you stop getting blindsided. When I was younger, I took betrayal personally. I thought, how could they do this after everything I did for them? But later I understood that's just how life works. You can't control people. You can't control what they do. You can only control how you respond. And my response became this: appreciate loyalty, reward it, but don't depend on it. Don't bet your future on someone else's loyalty. Here's the key: loyalty should be proven, not assumed. Don't assume people are loyal just because they smile at you, just because they say the right words. Words are cheap. Watch what people do. Watch how they act when things get tough. Because loyalty isn't tested when everything is going well. Loyalty is tested when everything falls apart. That's when you find out who's real. I'll give you an example. During tough times, financial crashes, legal fights, the media storms, I saw people disappear. People who used to be around me all the time, suddenly gone. But I also saw people who stood firm, who didn't run, who said, I'm with you no matter what. And those people, I'll never forget them. That's real loyalty. That's priceless. The mistake most people make is expecting loyalty from everyone and then being destroyed when they don't get it. Don't do that. Expect human nature. People will do what's best for them. And if they happen to stay loyal in the process, that's a blessing. But never build your life, your career, your dreams on the assumption that everybody's going to be loyal, because you'll be disappointed every single time. Now, let me say this. Loyalty goes both ways. If you want it, you have to give it. And when you find people who are truly loyal, you have to be loyal back. You protect them, you support them, you reward them. Because loyalty is the glue that builds dynasties. It's the glue that keeps families, businesses, and movements strong. Without loyalty, everything falls apart. So here's the truth. Loyalty is everything, but only when it's real. Don't hand it out cheaply. Don't give it to everyone. And don't expect it from everyone, because most people are temporary. But the few who are loyal, the few who stand with you no matter what, they're worth more than gold. And if I knew that when I was younger, I would have saved myself a lot of pain. I wouldn't have been so surprised when people walked away. I wouldn't have wasted energy being angry when people turned. I would have focused more on identifying the few loyal ones and less on chasing loyalty from people who didn't have it in them. So remember this: loyalty is rare. Most people will disappoint you. Don't let it break you. Don't let it make you bitter. Just understand it, expect it, and adjust to it. And when you do find loyalty, treasure it, protect it, honor it. Because loyalty, true loyalty, is one of the most powerful assets you'll ever have in life. The fifth truth I wish I knew when I was younger is this: energy is more powerful than money. And when I say energy, I mean your drive, your enthusiasm, your stamina, your fire. Because here's the truth: money without energy is nothing. It disappears. But energy, when you have it, when you control it, when you protect it, it creates money, it creates opportunities, it creates results. When I was young, like many people, I thought money was the most important thing. get the money, and then everything else will follow. But I learned quickly that's not how it works. I've seen people with piles of money who are tired, drained, burned out, and guess what? Their money goes away. They don't have the energy to grow it, protect it, multiply it. On the other hand, I've seen people with no money but incredible energy, and they built empires. They turned nothing into something because energy is the real fuel. Think about it. What good is $1 million if you're exhausted, if you can't get out of bed, if you can't think straight, if you can't make the calls, if you can't push forward? Money just sits there. And eventually it goes to someone who does have the energy. But if you have energy, if you wake up ready to move, ready to fight, ready to make things happen, you can turn $1 into 10, 10 into 100, 100 into a fortune. That's the power of energy. I remember when I was younger, I had an almost insane drive. People would say, Trump, slow down, take it easy. But I didn't want to slow down. I had energy, and I used it. I was on the phone, I was in meetings, I was walking construction sites, I was making deals at midnight. And you know what? That energy created money. It created opportunity. If I had just sat back and waited, nothing would have happened. And here's the secret. Energy is not just physical, it's mental, it's emotional. Energy is the attitude you bring into the room. If you walk in tired, drained, defeated, people feel it. They don't want to deal with you. But if you walk in alive, sharp, enthusiastic, people want to be around you. They want to follow you. They want to invest in you because energy is contagious. I've been in meetings where one person walks in with high energy and suddenly the whole room comes alive. Ideas flow, deals move forward, people feel motivated. And I've been in meetings where someone walks in with low energy and the whole room dies. Nothing happens. Energy is the difference. That's why you have to protect your energy. You can't waste it on things that don't matter. You can't waste it on negative people, toxic environments, meaningless distractions. Every time you give your energy away to something useless, you're robbing yourself of the fuel you need to build your future. Protect it like it's gold, because it is. Now, people often say, but Trump, what if I don't have energy? What if I'm just not that type? Let me tell you, energy can be built. Just like confidence, it's a decision. It starts with how you take care of yourself, what you eat, how you move, how you think. But more than that, it's about passion. If you're doing something you don't care about, of course you'll have no energy. But if you're doing something that excites you, that drives you, suddenly you have endless energy. You can work all night and still wake up ready to go. Here's the truth. Energy beats talent. Energy beats money. Energy even beats experience. Because the person with energy will outlast everyone else. They'll keep going when others quit. They'll keep pushing when others stop. And in the long run, that's what wins. So when you're young, don't just chase money. Chase energy. Build it, protect it, use it. Surround yourself with people who have it, who lift you up, who push you forward. Cut out the people who drain you, who steal your energy, who slow you down, because your energy is your most valuable asset. Without it, nothing else matters. With it, everything becomes possible. I wish I understood that earlier. I spent time around people who drained me, people who slowed me down, and every time it cost me. It cost me time, money, opportunities. Once I learned to guard my energy, everything changed. I started moving faster, building bigger, winning more. So here's the truth, plain and simple. Money comes and goes. You can lose it, you can make it back. But energy, once you waste it, it's gone. You only get so much each day. Use it wisely. Put it into things that matter. Put it into things that build your future, and watch what happens. Energy is more powerful than money, because energy creates money. And if you learn that while you're young, you'll be unstoppable. The sixth truth I wish I knew when I was younger is this. The crowd is usually wrong. And let me tell you, this is one of the hardest things for people to accept, because from the time you're little, you're told to fit in, follow the rules, do what everyone else is doing. Don't stand out, don't make waves. But here's the reality. The majority is almost always wrong. If you follow the crowd, you're going to end up exactly where they are, average, stuck, disappointed. When you look at the most successful people in history, they all did one thing. They went against the crowd. They didn't follow the herd. They didn't do what everyone else told them to do. They thought differently. They acted differently. And that's why they got different results. If you do what everyone does, you'll get what everyone gets. And most people aren't winning. That's the truth. When I was younger, I thought the experts, the big names, the loud voices, they must know what they're talking about. They're all saying the same thing, so it must be right. Wrong. Some of my biggest wins came when I did the exact opposite of what everyone was screaming at me to do. And some of my toughest times came when I listened to the crowd instead of my own instincts. The crowd plays it safe. They don't take risks. They wait for permission. And because of that, they never get ahead. The crowd says, don't try that. It's too risky. The winners say, that's exactly why I'm going to try it. The crowd says it's impossible. The winners say, watch me. That's the difference. I'll give you an example. When I started building in New York, people said, don't go there. It's too dangerous, too messy, too complicated. Nobody wants it. That was the crowd. And if I had listened, I never would have built some of my most iconic properties. But I went against the crowd. And what happened? Big success. Same thing in business deals. There are times when everyone runs one way, and I look at it and say, that doesn't make sense. And I go the other way. And later, they all realize I was right. Not because I'm a genius, not because I know everything, but because I don't blindly follow the herd. I trust my instincts. Here's the truth. The crowd is driven by fear. Fear of missing out, fear of looking stupid, fear of being different, and fear never leads to success. If you want to win, you have to tune out the noise. You have to be willing to stand alone, to be laughed at, to be doubted. Because the moment you stop caring what the crowd thinks, you start making real moves. Think about it. How many times in history has the majority been wrong? Too many to count. People laughed at the idea of cars, airplanes, computers, the internet. The crowd always says, it'll never work. And then a few bold people prove them wrong. That's how progress happens. And let me say this, being different is not easy. When you go against the crowd, you will be criticized. People will attack you, they'll mock you, they'll say you're crazy. But that's a good sign. That means you're on to something. If nobody's criticizing you, it probably means you're doing what everyone else is doing, and that's not where the big wins are. When I was younger, I wanted approval. I wanted people to say, great job, you're doing the right thing. But I learned that if everybody agrees with you, you're probably on the wrong path. Because real success doesn't come from following, it comes from leading. And leading means being willing to stand apart. The crowd wants comfort. Leaders want results. The crowd wants safety. Leaders want growth. The crowd settles. Leaders push. That's why the crowd stays average and leaders get ahead. So here's what I want you to remember. If the crowd is running in one direction, stop and ask yourself, does this even make sense? Are they running on fear? Are they running because everybody else is? Or is there another way, a smarter way? Don't just follow. Think. Trust your instincts, because the crowd is usually wrong. And I'll tell you, if I knew this when I was younger, I would have moved even faster. I wasted time worrying about fitting in, worrying about what people thought, worrying about being liked. Big mistake. The sooner you stop caring what the crowd thinks, the sooner you start living your life on your terms. So don't follow the crowd. Don't listen to the noise. Learn to stand alone, to think for yourself, to trust your gut, because the crowd is usually wrong. And if you want to win big, you've got to be willing to do what the crowd won't. The seventh truth I wish I knew when I was younger is this: time is your most valuable asset, more valuable than money, more valuable than possessions, more valuable than anything else. Because here's the reality: money, you can lose it and make it back. Opportunities, you can miss them and find new ones. But time, once it's gone forever. You never get it back. When you're young, you think you have all the time in the world. You think you can waste days, weeks, even years, and somehow it won't matter. But let me tell you, it matters more than anything, because every day you waste is a day you'll never see again. And the older you get, the more you realize how precious every hour, every minute really is. I'll be honest, when I was younger, I wasted time. I spent time on people who didn't deserve it, projects that went nowhere, distractions that didn't move me forward. And looking back, those are the moments I regret, not the failures, not the risks, not the deals that didn't work out, because those taught me something. What I regret is the time wasted, because there's no return on wasted time. Here's the truth. Success is not just about money or intelligence or talent, it's about how you use your time. The people who get ahead are the people who value every hour. They cut out the nonsense. They eliminate the distractions. They don't spend time with people who drain them. They focus their time on what matters building, creating, moving forward. That's how they win. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day. You, me, the richest person, the poorest person, we all get 24. The difference is how you use them. Some people waste them. They scroll, they complain, they procrastinate. Other people maximize them. They use every hour to move closer to their goals. And those people, they win big. Let me tell you something powerful. If you really want to know where your life is heading, look at how you spend your time. Because your time is your life. You can't say you want success and then spend your days doing nothing. You can't say you want to be great and then waste hours on things that don't matter. Your time reveals your priorities. When I was building my career, I learned to be ruthless with my time. I learned to say no. No to people who wanted to waste my time. No to projects that weren't worth it. No to distractions that would slow me down. And let me tell you, that one skill, protecting my time, made me millions, maybe billions. Because when you value your time, you focus it on what produces results. Most people are afraid to say no. They don't want to upset anyone. But if you say yes to everything, you're saying no to your future. Every time you waste an hour on something meaningless, you're stealing from your own success. That's the truth. And here's something else. Time compounds, just like money. It builds. If you waste one day, maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal, but waste one day a week, and that's 50 days a year. Waste an hour a day, and that's over 15 full days every year. And if you do that for 10 years, you've lost months, even years of your life. That's how people wake up at 40, 50, 60, wondering where the time went. On the other hand, if you invest your time wisely, reading, learning, building relationships, taking action, it compounds in the same way. 1 hour a day, used wisely, can change your life. 1 year of focused time can put you so far ahead of the crowd, they'll never catch you. That's the power of time. So let me tell you what I wish someone told me when I was younger. Treat your time like money in the bank. Actually, treat it better than money, because you can always get more money, you'll never get more time. Wake up every morning and ask yourself, how am I investing today? Am I wasting it, or am I building something? And if the answer is wasting, it's time to make a change. The most successful people I've ever met were not just smart or talented, they were disciplined with their time. They didn't waste it on gossip, negativity, or people who didn't matter. They put their time into their vision, their mission, their goals, and that's why they won. So remember this. Time is your most valuable asset. Don't waste it. Don't let people steal it. Don't spend it on things that don't move you forward. Use it wisely, invest it carefully, protect it fiercely, because one day you'll wake up and realize the clock doesn't stop for anyone. And the only question will be, did you use your time to build the life you wanted, or did you waste it? I wish I knew that when I was younger. I would have been even faster, even bigger, even stronger. Don't make the mistake of thinking time is unlimited. It's not. Start valuing it now, and you'll be amazed at how much you can achieve. Because the truth is, once you master your time, you master your life. So those are the truths I wish I knew when I was younger. Nobody's coming to save you. Confidence is more valuable than intelligence. Failure is part of success. Loyalty is everything, but it's rare. Energy is more powerful than money. The crowd is usually wrong. And time is your most valuable asset. If I had known all of that at 18, 19, 20 years old, I would have gone faster, bigger, stronger. But now you know it. You don't have to wait 30, 40 years to figure it out. You can use it right now. The world is not going to hand you success. The world is not going to beg you to win. You have to take it. You have to believe in yourself when nobody else does. You have to keep going when you fail. You have to protect your energy, guard your time, and stand apart from the crowd. If you do those things, you will be unstoppable. Don't wait, don't waste, don't follow. Decide today that you're going to take control of your life. Because the truth is, you already have everything you need. The only question is, are you going to use it? And if you do, if you take these lessons, if you act on them, you're not just going to win, you're going to win big.